Jerry Miller, Judah Wickower, Liza the dog. Real Talk with Keith Smith on a Monday. Liza the dog is very eager for a little pet from one of our panelists, Nikki Chambliss over there. Yeah. It's so funny. Liza, like, she needs her greeting. Like, she comes in when I'm here. She won't leave my desk until I give a little pat, pat, pat.
So hold on a second.
Hold on a
second.
What?
When I walk in the door, you greet me with great
gusto. Yeah.
Am I like? Is that what that's about? Okay, Smith needs the greeting.
No, I know. I'm just saying, Liza likes to greet the people, right?
And actually, I'm a bad Uncle Keith because I forgot to pick up dog bones this
morning.
morning.
Of all the bad Uncle Keith, bad.
I'm a bad Uncle Keith.
You know,
and she knows it.
Want to hear something? And don't ask me the names of the people, but I can count on one hand the amount of people. Oh, Judah, good job. Judah remembered to put the mic in front of his face today to talk, and was not reminded. There was only I can count on one hand the amount of times that Liza has growled at somebody in this studio.
And who was that person?
I said I would not.
Oh God, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. I was all excited
about the mic. On one hand, the amount of people that she's growled at.
Yeah, well, dogs are really good at picking up.
Oh my gosh,
vibes and all that stuff.
I trust dogs more than I trust humans with that stuff.
So I was actually I think it was Friday's show, your noon show, and you've got a segment about Yiddish words going on.
Oh, yeah.
So what was I didn't get the chance. What was the Yiddish word for?
It's catching fire. Judah's Yiddish word of the day.
And please explain to me how that came about, because you're not Jewish. So
he is part Jewish.
I did not know that. Did I know that?
Half Jewish.
Wickower is
no kidding.
Austrian. Russian Jewish name.
Wickower.
Well, that's just like you learned I'm a lefty. I've been how many years?
Vitkover.
What's that?
Vitkover.
Wow, I did not know that. So,
my aunt named I think most of her dogs Yiddish names.
Got it.
Pupik, Chutzpah, Shana Madel.
So, what's your favorite Yiddish word?
My favorite Yiddish word? I mean, Tuchus is a classic.
Oh, Tuchus is so good.
Oy and vey. What does Tuchus mean?
Oy vey.
Oy vey. Tuchus.
It means butt.
Schmuck. That's a good one.
I like chutzpah.
But do you know what schmuck actually means in German?
Chutzpah. I don't know.
No, schmuck means jeweler. Look it up.
Means jeweler?
Jeweler.
Huh.
A schmuck. And the reason I know that, I was 19 years old, wandering when I was on leave from...
Judah doesn't believe you. It's the whole trust but verify. Trust but verify.
No, I pointed to him. I said look it up.
Okay.
Look it up.
Okay.
It's a schmuck is a jeweler.
It's a jeweler in Germany.
Yep.
Didn't know that.
And the reason I knew that was, you'll appreciate this, my first wandering through Vienna, I'm wandering through the first district, and I'm looking at this sign called Schmuck on the wall. And I went, okay, I got to go in and check this place out. And it was jeweler. We have to confirm with Mrs. Smith, who's a German-speaking person, but somebody can Google it. Maybe it was a store designed to bring schmucks, which would
We're
be
talking
me.
our favorite Yiddish words here. We'll start the program here in a matter of moments. The cameras are not on yet.
No, I'm not. Apparently, I'm not. But I've been told that.
In the German language, the word schmuck means jewelry or adornment.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
In the German language, schmuck means jewelry.
And what does it mean in Yiddish?
Well, the Yiddish derives from Old Polish.
So you know what a definition? We'll start off the show with an off-color joke. Do you know what the definition of a schmuck is?
I don't know that one.
A guy who gets out of the shower to take a leak. Now that's a schmuck.
Oh my gosh. Your mother watches this program.
She's the one that told it to me.
Let's get rocking and rolling here. We'll get Nikki's favorite Yiddish word when the cameras start. It's Real Talk with Keith Smith. It's the Monday edition. Judah, we can start when you're ready.
Real estate, we're going to talk Yiddish words.
I'm going to ask Nikki, so get ready.
I don't know.
You better come up with something Yiddish.
The pressure, guys.
Ask Keith over there. Look at his paper.
Quiet on the set.
Guys, good Monday morning. I'm Jerry Miller. Welcome to Real Talk with Keith Smith, the show where real estate is a springboard into the Yiddish language. So much to cover on today's show. Yes, including our favorite Yiddish words. A segment that started last week on the I Love Seville show is sprinkling into Real Talk with Keith Smith. One thing we know about Keith, he's a fan of a good Yiddish turn or phrase or two. Why don't we go to the studio camera? My favorite's chutzpah. I like oy vey. Sounds like you like schmuck, which know schmuck means jeweler in German.
No, I was trying to do it. I'm going to let Nikki say her favorite word because mine's a different
I don't
word.
even know. I didn't know I had so many words that I knew that were Yiddish
There's
words.
so many. I know.
Like, I love nosh. I say oy vey all the time, and I had no idea. So the things that I didn't know, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
So
there's so many that are just part of vernacular.
A shout out to Pearlie's in Richmond. Have you ever been to Pearlie's?
I have not.
Love Pearlie's.
You have to go. It's about as close to a real Jewish deli from back home. I mean, it's and what I love about it is the servers have that attitude. And I was there a couple of weeks ago. I had to do some business. Actually, it was a couple of weekends ago.
How would you characterize the attitude?
Well, I'm going to tell the story. So I ordered a matzo ball soup and a little bit of a Reuben. And I'm sitting there, and the woman was just giving me an attitude. What do you want? When do you want it? You know, hurry up. I got other people. You know, just really lovely. I leaned down and stared at her, and I said, thank you. And she goes, what the hell's wrong with you? And I said, thank you. I missed that. You know, you just made the food taste so much better. And she goes, you're such a schmuck. And just kept on walking by.
Pearlie's is
and
great.
Then I said, do you know what schmuck means? And she said, shut up.
No, she didn't say
no,
shut up.
absolutely she did. I love it.
What's your order at Pearlie's?
Matzo ball soup and a Reuben.
Every time?
Yeah, matzo ball soup, Reuben. You can't pass. If you ever had it, it's about the size of a 5-gallon.
Oh yeah.
Bucket. It's good for a couple of days, and it's got a really good baseball sized matzo ball in it, and love their fries. They have dill fries.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I'm getting hungry. Can we end the show? Let's do a live show from Pearlie's.
It sounds like Pearlie's needs to partner with Real Talk with Keith Smith. Let's get Nikki in the mix here on a Monday. So, friend, before we get into real estate and the week that was and the week ahead, how was your weekend? Highlights, something that should be spotlighted on the show.
Oh my gosh! Well, on the show, I don't know. Like the weekend was great. We had our annual picnic and awards for Keller Williams Lions.
Okay.
And so that was really amazing.
Okay.
And of course, like, I don't know if anyone else noticed, but the skies opened up and the rains came down.
Yeah.
We didn't float away, so that was good. But that did mean we needed to shift. And so Stephen Allen, who works as director of operations with our company, was definitely on point with making sure that all of that ran well. We ended up doing it at the Hillsdale Conference Center.
Oh yeah.
Which is a lovely space and available for people to rent for their events. And we love using that space. So it was wonderful. It was great. Agents had their families there. It was just nice to have some chill time. Our partners were there. It was
How
great.
many agents in attendance?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Great question.
You know what? Oh.
Well over 50.
So I didn't have it. It was well over 50, plus their family members. And doing it on a weekend like in April, it was incredible to have so many of our people. I don't know, it was at least a good 60% of our crew. And I know some of them were out showing houses instead of being there. And it's like, hey, more power to you, do your thing, right? So it was incredible.
And the MC for the awards was pretty good. Nikki did a great job.
Oh, you were the
Thanks.
MC?
She MC'd.
I called people's names and I made bad jokes.
Oh,
Okay.
I can do that.
I thought you were going to break out to a couple of cake fight songs there for a while.
No,
Who else was on the mic at the Keller Williams Awards
Quentin
party?
Beckham was on the mic
Quentin
a little
was,
bit.
yeah.
Okay. And the Hawaiian shirt I saw.
Always.
Yeah?
Oh, I don't think he owns anything else.
There we go.
I don't know.
He's got a couple of nice suit jackets. Yeah, so it was really good. You know, Scott Morris was there. He spoke.
Yeah.
It was great. So he's part of
He's
the
great.
sponsors. It was really good to see everybody there.
His littles are so cute.
Yeah.
It's very much so. So there was a little section over there with, since we couldn't do it outside, but little play areas for little people.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody that was a little bit over 6 foot may have been sitting down playing with the little people in the rice. And
It was awesome.
And
It's rice instead
Oh
of
yeah.
sand,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
It was great.
It's like one of those sensory tables.
I blew bubbles.
Yeah.
I made that happen.
I have no idea why I
It was
was
my
told
job.
this is where you belong.
There you
and
go.
I sat down.
It's like at Christmas or Thanksgiving, you have the adult table, then you have the kids table. Keith,
Yeah, kids
this table.
Yeah.
Over
I
here.
literally was ordered
too.
there.
No.
Sit there, shut up.
You were not.
When
Well,
when you get the award, just smile and
the
shake your head.
Scuttlebutt on the Street has Yes Realty Partners as an award
Yes.
winner.
Yeah, one of the top award
Can we
winners.
put it in perspective
Yes.
what happened for Yes Realty Partners?
Yeah, so
That's Keith Smith's shop that he co-founded.
So we're very fortunate. We won the platinum award
Oh,
on that,
platinum.
which is great. But look, at the end of the day,
What does platinum mean?
you know, it's a medal. You know, there's gold and there's platinum. It's
What's
a medal.
the platinum award?
Big numbers.
What are
There's
the
specific
yeah,
numbers
okay.
around it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I couldn't tell you
Performance
off it. It
numbers.
is
It's
totally
volume and stuff.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, I don't remember what
Okay.
they were, but
Okay.
it started from, I think, bronze and worked its way up
Yeah.
to platinum and all
Okay.
that stuff. But it is a medal, in
Okay.
case
Yeah,
you're
it is a
wondering.
medal. Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
wondering. And so, yeah.
Certainly not the jokes he's getting the.
Oh, dun dun.
It is, though, very likable personality. A man I enjoy doing this show with 3 times a week. And speaking of doing this show, the foundation of the show is real estate.
Yes, yes.
And
it
you
is.
guys are experts in real estate. My friends, how is the market week over week here? Do we have anything from a hopeful standpoint with inventory coming on the market?
I mean, I think the biggest thing that is hopeful, and I'm not going to dive into quite exactly what you're asking. It's more hopeful that people are still pulling through. It's hard. It's really hard for everyone who's out there, whether you're trying to sell a home or buy a home. And a lot of times people think, oh, selling a home is really easy right now. No, it's actually pretty stressful still. It's stressful because any small challenge now feels magnified by 10 or 20 because of the intensity of the market. So it's hard for everyone out there right now, and everyone is still being mostly civil and really working toward being kind and just being considerate and realizing, hey, you know what, it's stressful. And that's just talking about the market, right? Sometimes when you're moving, you might be doing so. A move itself is stressful, even if you're doing it for the best reasons under the sun and you're thrilled, right? And then if you're doing it because, like, I don't know, military, and you got orders and you weren't expecting orders and you're PCSing, and you don't get to say when you want to do that. You can ask, but that's only weighed in so much, right? So there's a lot of potential stress around that. And I think our community is really pulling together to try to insulate that and just try to add some positivity to that and some education around that to de-escalate that stress.
PCSing means what for those who are not military?
Oh God. Okay. I'm sorry. Now my brain just went. What?
Yep.
He said, you have to say the answer now. 'cause
Okay,
I'm
well,
like,
basically, it's a
it's
permanent
move.
duty.
Yes.
ter-
Permanent change of station.
There you go.
There we go. Thank you.
There you go.
I was like, oh, panic. My
There
brain
you go.
shut
So
down.
the military said you were now going
Yes,
here,
permanent
and you
change of
go ahead and
station.
do this. So week over week, we've been doing this for a long time. The numbers are not looking any better. We've got 74 that came on 7 days going back. 108 went pending. I didn't get a chance to do the ratio, but to Nikki's point, I think we talked a little bit about this on Friday. To Nikki's point, folks are still buying. 108 people in the last 7 days put homes under contract. 74 is that we've been kind of hovering around the same number of actives per week over week. So we're not seeing any great increase. For the sake of a talk show, look at this, he's smiling.
love it.
He loves it. I'm just going to throw a little.
I love watching you guys. You guys are so good.
I'm going to throw a little live hand grenade on the table.
I just
with the
love
pin
watching
pulled-
you guys.
With the pin pulled.
Yeah.
Nikki, you ready for this?
Took
Yeah.
our military to speak
So-
a little too
yeah,
far. I don't want a
yeah.
grenade on a Monday.
Well, then let's put the pin back in. But
Too late.
Too
We
late.
like having
Throw
you
that
here, Nikki.
sucker.
We
like
got
having
3
you here.
seconds. You got 3 seconds. You can put the pin back
Okay,
in.
take
Who's
the pin and
diving
throw
on
it
it?
off.
That's the
All right,
question.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
So, what the hell is June and July going to look like? Do we think
Oh, man.
we're going? Do we think we are in a normal inventory spring cycle, which then would indicate
June and July means less inventory.
Yeah.
That's what you're suggesting.
Pin
'cause
back in the hand grenade.
people are in vacation time. That's what
do you
he's
think?
suggesting, Nikki, right?
No, so I think I laugh when you say normal because I get what you're saying because we keep trying to like
Or is
tiptoe
there a
around
normal?
how we say normal because it's like normal-ish disclaimer inserted here.
Right.
Right? Because it's not normal.
Ever since COVID, there's been no normal.
Yeah, like, or unless this is the new normal for a little bit, right? But we are having that seasonality come back. And I do think that in June and July, we're going to see that happen a little bit. I
So
think
that
we're gonna-
means less inventory.
Or I think it'll be a slight slowing overall.
Because
I
of
think for-
vacation mode?
Well, because of vacation mode, because of burnout, because of getting ready for school to start, because of moving people into college or wherever. It's also a big time where people tend to PCS because if they're getting it when they ask for it, they're trying to do that oftentimes between school seasons. Doesn't always work, but it does sometimes. So I do think we're having a little bit of it come back, but that has to have that disclaimer of it's a little and still nothing's normal. You know?
Yeah, so I'm going to pull the pin back out. I think we're going to see a lot less inventory in June and July. I really do. I think we're somewhat back to a normal bell curve kind of market area. I hope I'm wrong, but I think, and again, another question for you is, maybe if this interest rates drop a little bit, then maybe we might see some more folks come on the market. But, I think to set the table for folks, there is an expectation. I think inventory is just going to stay this anemic level, and I just do not see the buyer pool decreasing at all.
Well, I don't think it's going to get easier, that's for sure. I don't think anything's going to
Easier is
get
maybe a
easier
better choice
at
of
all
words.
for anyone. And I will say, like last week, I shared how I thought because we had already been through so much stress over the last 2 years that maybe that would have helped us. And in the last week, I have to say, I was like, you know what? I misspoke. This has been...
Oh, explain that.
Well, because last week I was saying that because of the
I
2
remember.
previous years,
Yeah.
and I do think we're better equipped for it, but I also think everyone is kind of a little like closer to the edge, right? Not like the edge, but just the stress is there.
Do you think...
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think, and I want to learn from you guys here, you guys are in the trenches, is that a byproduct of the lack of sales volume causing stress? Because even during COVID, the stress was there, but people were producing and making money because homes were selling. Now the stress is there, but people are not producing and making money. I know you add no new clients to the stress of normal living, and that really amplifies stress for anyone. Does that not for you guys?
Well, it's more than that. So let's wrap around like a case study with helping my daughter and our daughter out there. And back to this 108 on the pending. We put 11 homes, 13 was the winning number, but we needed to go through 12 offers to get there. And Quentin talked about this on Friday, the where matters, right? The micro matter. And so the level of professionalism, and I've been talking about this for months and months and months, the level of professionalism on our side of the table really needs to start ratcheting itself up, right? The pros are going to do very well. The ones that need to learn a little bit more are going to be struggling. So there's a lot of extra pressure on the agent pool, right, to that, because look, the bottom line is units are down. Some jurisdictions are down 30-40% year over year, so it puts a ton of pressure on it. But we need to go ahead. I wrote the word mensch down, Judah.
Mensch.
We're gonna
It's a great Yiddish word.
we're gonna stay with the Yiddish theme for the show. So would you do me a favor? I was trying to do it. Can you look up what the Yiddish word is for normal? I was trying to do it. I couldn't figure it out. But a mensch, what is a mensch?
I don't know.
Mensch is a good human.
Yeah,
Oh.
So that is something to aspire to.
I pointed to you guys.
Thank you.
Aw.
Yeah.
So we're all mensches here.
Yeah.
We're all
Nice.
good humans. We're all trying to do the right thing for other people and help other folks. So when somebody says to you, "You're such a mensch," that is an absolute compliment versus a schmuck,
That's
which
all.
is not.
Okay, yeah, no. That one I got, yeah.
Vanessa Parko, hello, welcome to the program. Ramil St. Lenvin, watching the program right now. Let me throw this to you. This market, inventory is already tight. We're seeing rates are heading lower. That's going to bring more buyers into the market. If more buyers come into a market where inventory is going to get even lower, which is Keith's prediction of the summertime, what's going to happen in June, July, and August? Are we going to have absolute insanity? His daughter lives in Seattle and bought a house in Richmond, sight unseen, with Keith, her father, and real estate agent doing a video tour. No home inspection. They did win the house on their 13th try. So is that what's to be expected for this summer in Central Virginia?
Well, I mean, I think that the next steps that have to continue, and they've already started some, but there's need for more of this, is reining in your idea of what it is you want in a home. Is home ownership the route? And truly, it's going to be the route I encourage. And also, that doesn't mean put yourself in a situation to be house broke, right? Don't do that. But I think the idea of what it is we want and need in a space that we call our home has got to be reevaluated, whether we're renting or buying. Because if you have to move somewhere or live somewhere, and you either have a lease that's expiring or you're moving to the area, which we have a regular influx of people moving to our area, what do you need for life to look great for you?
So guess what I'm starting to do? I'm starting to watch your noon show.
Oh, good.
And
Smart.
on Friday, smart. I've never been accused of that,
Smart.
but thank you.
Where news
Write
originates.
that on the calendar.
You talked about, to spin off on that a little bit, you talked about UVA being number one. What was that now?
So this is a great stat. Viewers and listeners, listen to this. So the McIntire School of Commerce, which is the undergraduate business program, is producing its graduates the top clip from an earnings standpoint in the nation of public universities. So when you go through finance at UVA's McIntire School of McIntire School of Commerce, you're coming out with the greatest earning potential with a finance degree in America. So the idea is, as these 22-year-olds start in the world of finance, earning the most that their degree can earn, that some will eventually come back to Central Virginia with a bag of money after earning however much money they did over however many years they worked, wherever they worked, like we all have done. Not all of us, but take so many folks in the area. There's this allure of coming back to Charlottesville after you've worked for years and then returning to a place that you have positive memories for.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's a retirement community, so as I always pull up, I love looking at Lake Monticello because of that. And I want to talk a little bit about the tax rate that got set and the impact it's having on folks. We are down to 7. This was last year,
Oh, man.
right?
Yeah.
Now, I took out 1 because it's 259 days and something's not
Outlier,
right. Something's
yeah.
not right there. But if you go ahead and take that out, the average days on market are under, let me hold on a second. Average days on market, I'll get it to you here in a minute. Average days on market is 28 days. So, and we've got 31 pending. So somebody who's smarter than me can do the absorption ratio on that, which is ridiculously high on that end of it. But, we're just, and by the way, the cheapest home is $335. Jumps up to $419. One home is at $335, jumps up to $419, then $427, $469, $487, and then there's a couple of 700s that are waterfront properties. So there's not even anything under $300,000 available at Lake Monticello right now, which has been normal, like blue collar work retirement kind of thing.
Last month I made the comment that if you were a first-time home buyer looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, attached or detached, this is the first-time home buyer looking for a home, that you're going to be spending $235 in the area. I think that number's even higher now.
Yes.
It would be. I would never combine the two because it's just two very different price points and projects, but I understand what you're trying to do. I would probably throw in condos in there too, just for the heck of it, to see what that comes out. But, the condo fees are pretty
substantial.
Pretty substantial. But, I have clients, this prime example, moving back where UVA grads,
Happens all the time.
retirees, they're fortunate enough that they don't have to move where they're at, or they've moved and got a pocket full of cash and they're going to wait. But that stat is impressive because all this is going to do is drive more high-end dollars here, which is going to have an impact on the price point. So when I was listening to your show on Friday, I really came to the conclusion that I think inventory is going to stay flat and buyer pool is just going to keep on growing.
Are we seeing, tough question, tough question. You're a team leader. You interact with agents at a greater clip than just about anyone in this area, Nikki.
Yes.
Are we seeing people saying, maybe it's time to put it on break, peace out, put it on
Oh,
ice?
like in real estate?
Yeah.
You're talking about realtors?
Are you seeing that?
So,
Or not even just realtors, anyone on the supply chain that you're coming across? Because there's a lot of people that work in real estate.
Well, I do think so. I think a while back when refis dropped, lenders did a lot of cutting back. I think a lot of that was probably support staff, admin, underwriters, that type of thing. Realtors, I think one of the things with realtors is a lot of the people that I work with day in and day out have been doing this for years. And we've been having this conversation about the market and about basically bracing yourself. Hey, we need to shift. You need to be able to remargin your expenses. What are you focusing in on, right? How are you doing things? And remargining your expenses for your business side and your personal life. Because, hey, hard times are ahead. Are you prepared? Because truly, in any market, you want to make sure you're prepared for that. It's just a matter of time in life before that happens to be prepared. So I feel like a lot of people have been trying to be prepared, and yet as it hits, it definitely hits a little harder than you've prepared for, because the reality of it's a little harsher. It just is. But I haven't seen many of my agents who have been in this for a while who are like, peace out. They're not there. If anything, they're more determined and they view this as an opportunity. Now, I have seen some that are kind of in between of where this isn't their full-time income and it's still very important, or maybe it is their full-time income and they were really, really happy with where they were, and so it's a matter of, okay, they're really feeling it, and they are, but then the conversations are more around, okay, how do we do this? Hey, I'm tired. What can I do to not be? And there's a lot to be done about that.
Well said, Nikki. Neil Williamson on LinkedIn. If summer inventory drops, will prices increase? I say I'm responding to him now. You guys are the experts. I'm responding absolutely yes. However, I will ask Nikki and Keith this question. If summer inventory drops, which we're predicting it will, he should also add in this question, if summer inventory drops and interest rates drop at the same time, what's that going to do to prices? Because that's going to really drive demand through the roof. I gotta say prices go up, but Keith, you're the pro.
Well, even if inventory goes up, prices are going to still go up, right? There's just, the buyer pool is just so deep in our area, prices are going to go up. Now, the where is going to matter, right? The
Yes.
micro location matters, right? And certain jurisdictions or certain areas may not go up as much. Some may stay a little flat. Some may go a little bit down. So it's a hard question to generally answer. But I think if you throw all the car footprint into one big bowl and figure out, just put everything in there, you're going to see it increase in valuation. Some of it will be down. Some of it will be up. But I think overall you're going to see that. What you're going to see is a huge drop in numbers of sales, and I'm talking not 5%, 10%. These are going to be huge numbers.
He's talking volume, guys. Volume.
The number of
Yes.
sales, the volume,
Yeah.
not the volume of dollars, but the volume of actual transactions. And you can see that happening right now.
No,
So
I agree.
I think the answer is yes. You're going to see price increase.
So what do you do if you're a younger or less seasoned agent? This is something that you're dealing with all the time, Nikki, and you're counseling these folks. Younger, less seasoned agent, and you have to weather this storm.
Well, and first let me say it's not about age, because I have one of my newest agents is in her, let's just say she's old enough, past
Careful,
old enough to be
careful.
my mom, and I just realized I shouldn't say age ranges for people who are older than me.
Okay.
Thank you.
No,
I know.
that's got
No.
no. I'm just sitting here. That's all. A certain age.
Like one of her, and she's hilarious and she's delightful. And one of the things when Amanda Spagoni was going through
You love
her
Amanda.
normal thing about this being a long-term game, and she's like, well, I only have so much long-term left. So, and it was like, oh, you know what? Okay, so let's reevaluate this for where you are in life a little bit. So yeah, just a little bit there. It's not an age thing for sure. I think that what is happening there is you need more support to hit the ground running. And that's that Amanda Spagoni, who's a guest on the show from time to time, and we love having her on. She runs our Market Center team, Alliance Home team. And part of that team is it's a team. It's a real estate team. They go
They
out
did
and they
well.
do their team things. It's incredible. The other half of that team is it's our required new agent training program, because new agents need that support. Instead of floundering around and throwing a lot of money down a toilet potentially, and doing the whole sink or swim concept, which is absolutely ridiculous, they have support and tools to be able to help them. And an Amanda, because everybody needs an Amanda when they get started in real estate.
Love Amanda.
So it's incredible. And it gives them that jump off, basically. It gives them a much better start to say, oh, you know what? Not only can I do this, I can do this quickly because I don't have to know all the things because Amanda's there and her team. She's got a leadership team within her team. So they have the needed support in addition to the entire brokerage, right? So now they're starting with, I can actually hit the ground running, learning as I go, and still be able to serve my clients well. Because as a new agent, that was one of the things that I got in my own way about. I was like, this is no joke. I went from bookkeeping to real estate, and I felt like the real estate industry took people's finances way too lightly. Of course I would, coming from bookkeeping, right? So it was very disconcerting to me. And so I didn't do a sale until the end of my first year. Because I was like, I don't know enough to be advising people on these amounts in this industry. But now you can get started in real estate, and you know enough because you have people who know.
So
I like it. I like it.
I want to give a shout out to Amanda and her team, and I refer to it as an incubator.
Nice, yes.
That's so important because we're incubating Yvonne. I don't know if that
Yes.
sounds right. That came out wrong.
No, it totally works. It totally works.
Actually, you've already done that.
I think I haven't done
Yona
that.
did.
Yona did the
Yona did
that.
incubation
Yeah.
of it.
Long time ago.
Sorry about that. Let's clarify this.
Yeah.
So we're teaching Yvonne the essence of the business,
Yes.
right? And
You delegated the incubation.
well
Yeah,
done.
no.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
And
I
I had
thought-
something to. Okay.
delegated,
Let's
yeah.
stay off
Yeah.
the subject.
Y'all are about
I
to
thought
get
you
yourselves
would
in
appreciate
trouble.
that.
Both of y'all are about to be in trouble.
Yeah. Funny story about that. No, I'll leave that alone. Something about our daughter figured out.
His daughter's talking about getting into real estate. She's
Yeah.
also the one that's moving from Seattle to Richmond. She's been getting a
Yes.
lot of. You should probably weave her into the program.
We
she
are
com-
when she
yeah,
when she
yeah.
comes in, she's
Yeah.
going to weave into the program.
Yeah.
We're going to help. We're going to open up a little shop in Richmond, but the reality of it is, by the way, Mrs. Smith, you just figured that out, learned that for the first time. I said, okay, great. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We've run the contract. We're going to go to closing, right? Normally, there's a lot of back end work that we all do, which I always say the easy part, believe it or not, is getting it under contract. The hard part is getting it through the closing process and handing keys to people. That's where the real work, in my opinion, is on that end of it. Not the front end isn't real work, but handing keys to that. I said, okay, I'll tell you what, honey. So we're going to walk you through this. And we're going to do this. And so instead of like normal clients, we would handle a lot of behind the scenes stuff. She's doing all that stuff, and she's very much so engaged with it. So we're coaching and we're mentoring. Mm-hmm. I won't use the word incubating through that. But shout out to you because it's easy to get a license. If yours truly can get it, it's an easy to get a license. To get it, it is hard
to make a living.
Hard to do the job well.
Yeah.
And you guys set up your incubator program that is excellent on that.
Well, and I think the biggest challenge is everybody wants to be in business for themselves, and yet it really comes down to foundational tasks, foundational principles, foundational, redundant, sometimes tedious, not fun things for any business to succeed.
100%.
And nobody wants to do that stuff. That's not why they got into real estate.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So when you started, what did you find out was oh my God, I didn't know I had to do that? What was your aha moment when you really started getting into the business that nobody ever really told you, didn't really understand? What was the one thing or two things, whatever it is, that really was your aha moment? Does that make sense?
It does, but I don't know that I had that because I was for me, I was going to do it. I was determined. It didn't matter what I knew or didn't know. And to me, failure was not an option, right? And I think you'll find that the people who get into whatever it is they get into, where failure is not an option, even if they fail on that one thing, they're going to find a thing where they are going to.
Well, you're wired that way.
Right?
You're wired that way anyway.
Well, and I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't have time to waste. And I don't mean that failure isn't part of the process. It totally is. But okay, giving up, that actually may be a better way to put it. Giving up is not an option. Failure is going to happen. But giving up because of failure or because of boredom or because of whatever it may be was not an option to me because I had already done a business that was going really well that I wanted to scale up, but I didn't have the education, the funds, the connections. I needed at least 2 of those 3 to next level, and I didn't have 2 of those 3. So I was like, okay, so what am I going to do? Because I need to stop exchanging time for money. This isn't working for me. And so being able to do this, but I will say...
Why did the exchanging time for money not work for you?
Well, and at that point, I was in my mid-30s.
Okay.
And I felt like I was so far behind. And I get that that's a myth in life, right? But I didn't know that at the time. I felt like I was so far behind. I had spent a lovely part of my life being a stay-at-home mom. And while I'm grateful for that, there are parts of that where, everybody thought, oh, well, you're a military veteran. You had a security clearance that I had never used. I'm just saying, I don't know things, okay?
I used to have that.
And people were like, oh, it'll be easy for you to go to get a job. No, it would not. I applied at all those places. And the most I qualified for anything was an entry level that not only wouldn't cover my bills, it certainly wouldn't cover childcare. I don't have family here to watch my kids for me, right?
Neither do we.
And that's not always easy, by the way. So when I say that lightly like that, sometimes people think, oh, you think I've got it easy because I have family watching my children. That in and of itself can be quite the complication.
100%, but it can be an advantage.
But there are all
we
of
feel
these
very
things.
Isolated without having family here and having 2 kids.
Yeah, and I'm fortunate I have some family in Norfolk.
Yeah.
And truly, my dad's in Pensacola, Florida, which is far away, but also
He watches
not
the show.
near
I
as
think he's
far.
watching now.
He does. He watches regularly.
Yeah.
Love you, Dad.
So you love them.
So there's just I'll say I love you again. Love you, Dad. So there's there were just a lot of things that it was like, hey, okay, the exchanging time for money with where I was in life, it wasn't working because while I had some skills, I didn't even know what they were or how to communicate them. Honestly, until I took on this team leader job, a lot of the things that I now see, I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect for me. And all of these things that I've been working toward all my life, whether it's been in volunteering or my home life or all of this growth that's happened everywhere, even my short time in the military, I feel like it's come together for this to be like, oh, I'm in the right place, right?
That's awesome.
But I had to persevere through these things where I didn't know the value of what I was learning.
I have, you've been doing Real Talk with Keith Smith and coming on the talk shows for what, a couple years?
Oh, yeah.
At least, you're in 9 months?
I have noticed over that time, I feel like your energy and where you are professionally, I mean, I only know you professionally, such a great spot. You seem very, what's the word? You have
comfortable.
Things. Yeah, comfortable. Yeah, comfortable.
My confidence has gone up, and
Yeah,
that makes
I
all
see
the
that.
difference. Yeah.
Don't you see it?
Well, did I?
Yeah, you seem
What did I do
relaxed.
after last Monday's show?
Yeah, no, totally. You came
Relax,
by and
yeah.
said,
Actually, did I come
no,
by?
you texted. It was a different day last week. I saw you.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
But
and then after, it wasn't
but
yesterday,
you have done,
Saturday.
and you have really matured, and this, what we do here, works very well. Actually,
Yes.
I said, the 3 of us work really great. It's great to have a guest, but we're bouncing off one another.
Yeah.
So back to that question.
Yes. Oh, yes. I forgot what the question was.
No,
now.
no, but I just want to chime in because
Yeah.
I had a conversation with Yvonne about this,
Okay.
right? And she actually came to. She has a tremendous amount of this. The emotional intelligence that you need to do this job, they don't teach you, right? You don't know it. That's why you have to is off the charts because at certain level, at most levels, it's very psychological what we do, right?
Yes.
Try to help people move, make one of the largest purchases in their life or largest sales. And I'm going to screw this up, Jerry. I know it. I'm just saying. I'm
not
giving
looking
you
at you.
I'm giving you a
I
heads
know
up
what you're
already.
trying to
right?
do. I'm not looking
Right,
at you
right.
to give you pressure.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm going to look down and you look down. Here we go.
I'm looking
We'll
down.
just do it this way. That one of the things that get me up every morning and excites me is that we get to help somebody with one of the reasons, one of the essentials to go around the sun for 1 year, which is food, clothing, and shelter. And we do shelter. Thank you, Jerry. Thank
got
you.
it.
Thank
That
you.
was so
So
bad.
the chemistry is getting to the
That
point. He
was
looks at me
so
and I can't
bad.
stop laughing. And he did it to me on Friday. I was trying to do it. He smiled and
Even
man,
Judah
all over.
realizes, look, Judah's
I
like,
fell apart.
I know he didn't get that right.
Oh my
maybe
goodness.
that's the definition of.
God.
You're
No,
such a mensch.
But you guys are 100% right. I mean, you guys are not only this compass, but you guys are this therapist. You're this deal
Oh, yeah,
maker.
without
You're this
doubt.
organizer.
Without
You're this
doubt.
like scheduler. You're this. I mean, you just have to wear so many hats.
Everything is
That's
going to be
why
okay. But you have to. The trick to this is, and I learned this. Being a Marine is 99% perception, 1% reality. You have to learn how to, even though you are internally like concerned, you have to come across as, hey, we're here to help you. I've got the answers. We can help you navigate this. Even though you're questioning yourself, you've got to let the other side know that
you know what?
because they are counting on you to make one of these trips around the sun.
You know what? I hear
Sorry.
often said that realtors are like ducks, right? They look calm
was
on
trying
the
to tie it
surface,
in.
but they're paddling furiously under the surface. I also, because of course being a Florida girl, we're the eye of the hurricane, right? And hopefully the home buying process doesn't feel like a hurricane, but honestly, right now, that's probably a better way to view it.
It's the selling
Right?
side too, Nikki, right? The
Oh, yeah, no,
sellers
it doesn't matter.
are under a tremendous amount of
So
pressure.
much.
What do I do? Back to your question of, sometimes they're like, well, hey, we've got a couple offers. I don't care. I want to take an offer. I want to move on. Right? Right? Well, time out. We can let me do my job and see if I can get you a little bit more money. No, I want to sign the contract. I want to move
Yeah.
on. So, it's very different. Each transaction's different. Each location's different.
It
I'll let
really
you finish.
is.
I interrupted you.
Oh no, that was perfect. I get it. No, I was thinking that's one of the key things for the realtor community, and when times get more stressful, because like right now, one of the conversations I had several of in the last week since the last show was with several agents about how it's not just that like one client situation is high stress. Almost all of them are, which is not normal for a real estate life, especially not over the last few years. The last time most of them being stressful was normal was, in that dark time.
There's a sense of
Dark time.
Yeah, Nikki, well played.
I don't remember what you guys called it.
There's a
Time
sense
of great unpleasant.
There you go.
desperation
That's Neil.
that's out there. Like with the clients that we have on our
Yes.
branding roster, the word desperation is coming up.
Yes. And you can't be. You have to find stability within yourself.
So somewhere we can find the old thing I did, O shift, right?
Yes.
So, we are constantly O shifting in this business on that end of it. But the agents that are watching, I just had a genius idea that we can do for a show. Well, maybe not. You guys will tell me if it is or isn't.
That's what we're here for.
Thank you, and make me smile. No, thank you, Smith. So it's normal over the 35 years I've been doing it is to work with a client for 1 to 2 years before you can find something.
Yes.
Not this 2 weeks, not
Yeah.
this 2 months, not this couple of months. It was normal that you would spend all this time. You would spend time with folks helping them to list. Would take months, if not years, to go ahead and do that. A lot of agents aren't used to that. That's a lot of work that you have to put in on the front end to get it back. The idea that I had, let me see what you think about this, Jerry. And
So why's the mindset changed? Scribble down your idea here so you don't forget it.
Okay.
But I got a question that I got to throw to you. Why is the mindset change? Is this social media and the smartphone?
No, you've got a
Era?
combination. No, part of it's the market because
Yeah.
it has been
It's
so
all the
fast.
market.
Yeah, it's
and
the
it's been a
market,
seller
yeah.
market, but also the whole new agent aspect. So right now we've got clients who also are feeling desperate.
Uh-huh.
But one of the challenges with not having like a training system, an incubator for new agents,
Yeah.
is a lot of people aren't starting like
the
a normal
right
business,
foundation.
a bricks and mortar business.
Yeah.
Usually you're having some sort of like a business plan, first of all, which we all should have no matter what, but also coming in with funding and expecting to not make a profit until you're whatever projected based on hopefully solid
Takes
data
1 to 2 years.
by professionals. Well, and if you're starting a restaurant, that 1 to 2 years better be projected way further out.
Yeah,
right?
5
I mean,
years.
so it just depends on the business. But a lot of times, people who get into real estate, they're gung ho and they're excited and ooh shiny, and it's not as well thought out as needed in many other industries because our bar for entry is lower, right? So that's part of it. And then sometimes they get a little on the desperate side for these things, and they're not viewing it from the long term, which
So
is
the
something we
reason
talk
why
about
your
a lot.
incubator program is so important, you set realistic expectations.
Oh, big time.
Right. This
Yes.
is important. Realistic expectations. If you're going to go into this, the bar is low, but let's talk about it. What kind of business can you actually get in and make this amount of money with very minimal investment?
Oh,
in
I'm
it?
grateful the bar's low, or I wouldn't have been able to get in.
Well, there's a
like,
bar
you know what I
low
mean?
for-
Like it was.
There's very few.
But if you take a
Yeah.
look at the volume, very
Yeah.
few people do.
I mean, that's what they say. 10% of the agents do
Oh,
90%
yeah.
of the business.
Well, and most new people, what is it? Within 5 years, like 80% of them are gone.
Mm-hmm.
And truly, part of our goal with our training team, Alliance Home Team, is to help people figure that out faster. Ideally, before they even get their license and spend that first chunk of change, right? And maybe it's like, hey, actually, this is kind of hard. If you're not ready for that, if that gives you pause, you might want to think on that a little more. And here are some resources to help you do that with more information and be better educated as to what you're getting into.
I like it.
I'm
Because
looking forward to
yeah.
the November, December show to find out when October comes around who actually renews their.
Because that's the renewals.
That's the
October.
renewal time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I wrote it down.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you
wa-
for the reminder.
I know.
Jerry.
Well, and
4
we've had a
years,
few
4 years.
retirements in the last few years,
Yeah.
and I know quite a few agents that over the years.
Why are you
I've had
looking at me when you say
conversations
retire?
with-
Is you telling me it's time for me to retire?
Oh no, not at
Okay,
all. I
just
just feel
double
like you
check.
probably know the people who
Yeah.
have retired better than Jerry does.
I think when Keith, and I don't want to speak for Keith in retirement or anything like that, but he's always going to stay in the business. He's going to have Gavin, Yvonne, Christopher Eagle, Emily Funk, that you're going to just pass opportunities along to.
So
Because
the-
he's constantly got his finger on the pulse.
But he's building a legacy.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
not it's not short set. Like a lot of agents build a solo agent business and don't know what to do with it, and
Keith is
hopefully
building
they
a-
stashed money.
Always start with an exit plan.
Yeah.
Keith and
Yes.
Yona are
Always
building a
have an
company
exit
here.
plan.
Well-
And we can continue talking for your personal legacy if you like. I know you want us to over there.
I want to get to this idea.
I know,
I
I
wrote
know,
down.
that's the idea.
I want to get to this idea I wrote down.
Please.
So what I would like to do is a round table with your agents
Oh, that's a good idea.
and see
That's a good idea.
And
Like that was part of the
He's
testing.
never going to get the
part of
idea
incubator
out.
testing.
There's no,
what
Yeah.
I wrote it down. Somebody told me I wrote it down. I wrote it down.
know, it's like,
So we
yeah.
would rotate agents through here and ask them from your team, either from the incubator or whatever. We'll get a half a dozen or whatever. We'll make poor Judah's head explode, and we'll bring people in like for 5 minutes. Okay, what's your most challenging? Let's talk about what's going on. We'll do a live therapist show.
No, what we can do, that's actually a good idea. What you
can
could
we
do,
call it
just,
something
I
different?
knew
I
he
don't know
would
if I
take
can
it
sell
and-
people on
I
that.
just throw things out and he makes it better, and then we
I'm
move
just
on.
spitballing out here with
Okay,
you, but we
cool.
can use this seat right here as part of the incubating training session where they because they're going to have to think on the fly
There you go.
when they're, face to face
Oh,
with
I'm going to
with
prep
sellers.
people. But yes, they are. And
this is
yeah.
a way for you to learn on the fly when you're going to be face to face with sellers.
Simple question. So how's the market?
Yeah, right.
A lot of agents don't know how to answer that
And
question.
this puts a little bit more pressure on them
Sure.
than doing it
I'm
in the
in.
office because we got
No,
some
no
people
pressure.
watching.
We want people to come. No
Yeah.
pressure whatsoever.
Yeah.
No pressure at
No
all.
camera. No
Don't
camera.
worry.
Y'all
No
put it
pressure.
together. I'll sell it. Okay?
I will tell
Let me
you,
sell it.
in the beginning of the show, like 3 years ago, I used to get guests calling, yeah, this is really great. We got so many, how many thousands of
Yeah.
people? You tell the number.
Too many.
That watch it, and yeah, it's cameras, and we got a studio and a director. And all of a sudden I watched their face go,
Oh, my
"Whoa,"
God,
and
yeah.
I went, okay,
People
Don't
panic.
do that anymore.
This is how you do it. You're just going to come and talk to me and Jerry.
There you go.
Yeah.
This is how
So can we tag our friend Neil, please? 'Cause
Yes, he's watching.
I'm going to give.
Neil's watching.
I'm going to give some numbers for Neil for his county.
Okay.
This is Greene County. First quarter up until today, so January 1 to 4/24, single-family detached, no new construction. I say that in my sleep. 47 units sold. The median sales price was $385. Same time last year in 2022, there was 82 homes, so there's 74% less homes sold year over year, and the price was $332. You went up 14%. So you got 74% less homes being sold in Greene County year over year for the same period, but you're up 14%. And, that's like classic supply and demand. We also think Greene County is going to be the next, at least I do, the next boom. You're going to start seeing a lot of movement.
Are your
to Greene
agents
County.
following the what Albemarle County is trying to do to developers with projects and the number of units that have to be affordable?
I am uncertain. My guess would be that there are a couple, and that then some are not. And
Right.
then no right now because they're out there just hustling.
Right now, and Keith
That
is
hustle's going to be harder if this doesn't
Keith
go.
is trying to do
Yeah.
some lobbying here. Right now, Albemarle
more
County
about it.
government is trying to pass that any new development, any project that is new development, if it's 10 units or more, 20% of that project has to be set aside for affordable.
It's a
Okay.
step more than 20%. It can't be any more than 60% AMI.
Yeah.
So there's a whole list of it. So
The units have to be spread throughout the development. They have to look similar to the units that are sold at market rate. And it's a lot of hoops the developer has to jump through. And the crystal ball is the developer's just going to be like,
Well, and so are they
Your
getting
crystal ball
credits
can be
for that at
severely
all?
cracked.
Is there some
Yeah.
balance
and still
there?
come to that.
right.
Are there tax credits or something as
No,
part of
the,
this?
the whole concept is
Yeah.
if you want to do development in Albemarle,
Okay, then
this is what
what's
you're going to
required.
do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to your, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but to your answer, there
You know what
are
I mean.
certain there are certain incentives for apartments that which I think they've kind of cleared the decks on that a little bit.
Okay.
I don't necessarily agree with it, but they've done
Yeah.
that. But on the for sale side, they have not really done much. So the good news is, shout out to Ned Galloway and Neil, because Neil got up and spoke and did it very well. Neil from the Dias did very well. They've basically paused it, and now they're going to do a true work session, hopefully run under the Regional Housing Partnership, because we have all the people there from the different 4 pillars on it. So hopefully we will get to a better place.
That sounds great. because
If
we
it's
do need
approved, to
something.
Jerry's point, if it should go through as it is currently outlined, you will see no more new developments.
Oh, wow.
In
They're
Albemarle
not going
County.
to find a.
Developers
They're just gonna go
won't.
elsewhere.
They'll just go to the path of least resistance between land acquisition, development costs, and the restrictions. It's supposed to be incentives. I think
Yeah.
probably it's more classified as restrictions
Interesting.
on it, and that's not their intent. It's just I don't think they understood what they wrote when they wrote it. So the good
Yeah.
news is we're going to have people at the table help explain it to them.
Because I have seen some of it on the rental side. My few months of property management, a local builder had several units in a neighborhood that they built that were also rentals in that neighborhood that were affordable housing, however you want to rate that. And it needed, like the renters had a whole list of cannot make more than this, and there were all sorts of steps and qualifications.
But generally, there's when you do those, not to get
Yeah.
into the weeds, but there's tax incentives. There's
And
what's
there-
called
there were,
LIHTC,
yes.
which is
Yep.
which is federal side of it. So that's a complicated math
Yes.
conversation. But on the ownership side, there really isn't.
Okay.
And
So it's a different,
you know,
it truly is a different ballgame.
our end of the equation, it's great that rental units are being built and it's great for all that stuff, but it's not helping, in my opinion, anybody climb the ladder of home ownership and climbing the ladder of creating generational wealth. Now,
I do get that, and I do feel though, if people can get into rental units that are more affordable,
They can start saving
with
money.
a long-term plan, then
Sure.
they can start saving. Because truly, like right now, there are only so many homes on the market.
Yeah.
Even within my 21-year-olds, right? We've been revisiting their plan. We had talked about maybe them renting my house at Lake Monticello. And now we're talking about maybe they would rather live a little further out, which actually puts them in between friend and family groups for the 3 of the 21-year-olds, young adults, and gives them an opportunity to rent something that would be even more affordable than the Lake Monticello home.
So this brings up what I've been wanting to talk about. We'll probably talk a little bit more on Friday on it once I start digging into the budgets for Fluvanna County. But I can tell you, my parents' house, I ran the numbers off of the new tax rate that they set. They're going to be paying 20% more cash year over year than last year. It's about $400 for them for the year. No, for somebody who's on a fixed income.
$400
Oh,
a lot.
yeah.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
And
Yes.
we're blessed because they can come move in with us. We always need a little bit of,
That's definition of gentrification right there.
there you go. We always need a little bit of,
Are they going to move in?
yeah, we're still talking about it. It's, I get it. If I was,
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it either.
if I was at a certain age, I'd be fighting it too.
Yeah, of course.
I've been fighting it too. So I get it, right? It's you get to a certain age, you start losing. Certain,
course, yeah.
And so I get it, but we're internally, Yona and I are preparing for it, so that could happen.
What's that preparation look like?
Looks like I'm spending money and putting an apartment in the
No,
basement.
is that what it is?
That's exactly what it is.
That's
yeah.
what it is?
I love them, but they got to be someplace else.
when does that construction start? I know you have the guys. I'm not concerned about the execution, but are you actually going down this path?
Oh yeah.
You are?
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm budgeting, designing. It's either that or an ADU in the backyard, auxiliary dwelling unit.
The basement would be way cheaper.
The basement will be considerably cheaper and also give me a better resale.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I do.
Because you saw it up the street.
Absolutely, and that's what initiated it. To be
Right.
frank with you, the numbers are starting to make sense now.
Yeah.
But it's about $150,000 it probably costs.
For the basement apartment?
Yeah,
How
I got
is
to
that
put
possible?
I got to put retaining walls in so they can drive down. There's a lot of work.
Okay.
There's some substantial foundation modification that needs to go because I don't have a true walkout basement.
Uh-huh.
I have like a
Okay.
side walkout basement
Okay.
on it, so we'd have to put retaining walls so they can drive down, have their own place. I want to add a couple more windows in the basement. So
Nice.
you're not sticking me in a dirty basement.
Is this what Pop said?
No, it was my mother. My pop couldn't care
Yeah.
less. Where's the beer? That's all. Is the refrigerator got beer? Yep, you're good.
I love
That's
Pop.
awesome.
God.
Beer. Yeah. And what we can trade off a little bit of sweat equity for the rent, and everything will work out okay.
We got some comments coming in. Neil Williamson sharing links on LinkedIn for content from the Free Enterprise Forum, which I encourage you to visit.
Yes.
Please
This
do.
one's from
Great
Christopher
resource.
Coppinger on Spotify. Can you ask the guests which neighborhoods they're seeing that are really hot right now? I know inventory is tight, but what are the neighborhoods where the inventory is still moving? I mean, there's a lot of them that are still moving.
I mean,
Yeah.
anything that's close to Charlottesville that's well priced and well presented, right? Because
Yeah.
that's still important. That we've talked on the show, I think, for weeks now about how buyers out there do not want to have to deal with something. So if that initial fall in love with me, bachelor style swiping through the house pictures or whatever dating app is the thing now, if your first photo doesn't grab people's eye, that might be a challenge.
Right.
So it's about how it's presented, it's about how it's priced, and while we are bidding each other up, if it seems like it's going to be too much work, people are just bowing out and being next. It's seriously dating style.
So, while you guys were talking, I just looked on our side of it. We do not do rental very well with our MLS, but just looking at what's
Yes.
available at Lake Monticello, the average rent is $2,200 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. $2,200 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house.
I'm telling you, it would have been
$2,200.
smarter for me to have moved into the Lake Monticello house and rented the one here.
There you
but
go.
I love my proximity, and it's also my
Well,
project.
location matters, right?
Location matters.
Number
Yep.
one.
So are you going to do that?
No. Well, and also, I still have a lot of work left to do. My plan was to have done a lot of it already, but that kind of got put on the back burner.
Of course.
So, yeah.
So
Yeah.
directly
Baby
to the
steps.
to the question, I think, and we can try to do it a little bit
I mean,
live
there's
here.
a lot of neighborhoods to the question, Christopher. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's priced well and it's in good condition, it's going to sell.
But location matters,
Yeah,
right?
well, it needs to be closer
Location matters,
to the
right?
hub.
And to my 6 things, right? Location is always the first one. It's the first one for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
right? So micro markets matter, location matters. So you can
So
be
much.
out in, I don't want to pick on Buckingham, but let's say you're out in Buckingham, right? And the price, the features, and the condition have to be a certain way in order for that to happen. And,
You're
that's the
100%
way.
right. That area is not going to be as hot as Charlottesville. And neither are any of your outliers, even in your areas where it's like, ooh, this is great because it's in between, Richmond, Charlottesville, and DC. And while there is some allure and strength to that is a value add for that rural area that Buckingham does not have in the same way, it's still nothing close to the same as a home being listed in Forest Lakes, right?
And the struggle with, and not to pick on Buckingham, but the struggle with Buckingham is it's divided into multiple MLSs, so it's really hard to take a bigger picture at it. We can take a look at it, what's close to us, right, at this point, and I'll probably do that as somebody else is chatting real quick, just to see at what quarter over quarter has done for Buckingham at
Nice,
this
yeah.
point. So if
Well,
some,
and truly, so when I was talking about my olders and reevaluating maybe the next step toward their goal of home ownership, which it is, and investing because that's something that, again, the lower bar of entry in a lot of ways, if you just follow some steps, right? So that's where they're looking at. Instead of renting it like Monticello, they're talking about, Buckingham, and in their case, it's in between Charlottesville
Wow.
and Livingston and Lynchburg area, and they have some ties to all of those areas, and actually a tie to Crozet now. So trying to find a place that is more affordable for them, knowing that, okay, my gas price increase is going to happen, but they were also driving all over to all these places already. So
yeah.
now they're kind of in between.
So they could potentially cut.
And it's not normally like the ideal middle ground for most people.
Yeah. So how about work-wise?
Well, and that's the thing. So work-wise, it gives them some more options in a lot of ways.
I like it.
Right?
I absolutely
because
like it.
now, if they're going 30 to 45 minutes any direction, there's opportunity there.
This comment's come in. This one is from Todd Murray, who has said, "Are cash offers still dominating real estate here in Central Virginia?"
cash is always king, right? I wouldn't say the word dominate, but cash is substantial down payments are going to make a difference in a multiple offer scenario because it makes the path towards appraisal a little bit easier.
Yes.
On that. But you ready for this number, Jerry?
Yeah.
Buckingham County was down 23%.
And inventory sold.
No, in sales price. So 2022, the median sales price in Buckingham County, single-family detached, no new construction. Again, it's just a portion of it that we have access to, was 256. This year, so far, 198.
Ooh.
So you lost 23% in value. So we talk about where the outer end of the rubber band may be a little soft. As you get a little bit closer to the intersections, that's when you start seeing this pickup. But like we said, Greene County is up 14%. Lake Monticello is up 10% quarter over
those
quarter.
two and Waynesboro, really, they're different than the conversations around like Buckingham. And we've talked about some areas of Nelson County that are so rural that peaked in COVID when everyone was trying to get further away and trying to get remote. And some of the areas of Buckingham have fiber now. Nelson, I don't know which areas. I'm not most up to date on the fiber internet aspect. That was a big deal. Now that's not the main allure for people.
Well, that's
buying
because
homes.
people have to go back to
Yeah.
back to the office.
There are fewer people who had that option to work remote in that way.
People jumped into it because it was the du
It's
jour.
the cool thing to do.
It was the du
Yeah,
jour
and they
thing.
thought the cool thing to do was here to stay.
And it didn't.
No.
And
And now there's a lot of people, or a lot of, lack of better phrase, you're screwed.
yeah, so
Because they're having to sell a home now that's underwater. and they're realizing that they're
Well, I'll
going to
tell
take
you.
a hit.
Well, we talked about this, right?
We did talk about this.
I
yeah.
had people, I had folks wanting me to buy a piece of property to do a rental in the middle of COVID, and I'm getting so much, and I said, no, thank you. I think when the market shifts, those are the type of markets that are going to be impacted.
And
on
it
that.
was.
Yes.
It absolutely was. Because
Look at
then
that.
you
Smith
realize-
got one right.
You get most of them right. From what
right.
I've seen, you get most of them right.
Well, that,
It's like you know what you're doing or something.
no, that's only a function of age. I've been just doing it long enough. That
Oh,
I'm
you're
actually-
saying the sample size is so many
No,
that you can't help
that's
but
right.
get some right? Is
That's
that
right.
what it is?
That's right. Well,
It's 37 years of experience, Keith.
Yes,
That's why I enjoy
Well,
doing
and
the
here's
show.
the
Is
thing.
he's seen a lot.
It's not even just the years of experience, because not everyone with that amount of years of experience could sit here in this seat and share information
Oh, for
and
sure.
have that value add in the same way.
His personality, and we just kind of stumbled into this, and how we stumbled into
we
it
did not
was
stumble into this. This was your idea.
I saw.
This was your
You
idea.
and Yona came on the show that I did, and it was more of an interview show then. And I'm
Oh,
like,
neat.
God, this Keith guy. He's in a jacket. He's got a pocket square. He loves to talk. The
Face
camera
for radio.
loves
Oh, wait.
him.
No, sorry.
He's got a lot to say. And then remember, we did 2 of them because the first one went so well that we did a second one with you and
Jerry,
Yona.
how long have
This
you
was
known
like
me?
4+ years ago.
Do
We
you-
did a second
man.
one.
Do
The
you think
second one went even better. And I'm like, why don't we do a real estate
So
show?
when I say we've been doing this for over 4 years, I count in those shows.
Yeah.
So
those shows would make it close to 5.
Yeah,
wow.
see, there you
Yeah,
go. That's
yeah.
this many, right?
Right. That's that. That's that. Real Talk with Keith Smith are just over 4, right?
We are, yeah, I think we're technically in our 4th year.
Right.
Because I think it started in April or something like that.
I'm-
Today's 451.
451 shows. It's amazing. I'm
Wow.
really intrigued to see what happens at the end of this year, Nikki. At the end of Q3 and Q4, with seeing how many agents are still active in Encore. We love having people pursue their dreams,
Yeah.
but eventually the rubber meets the road. And if Keith's predicting a drop in inventory this summer, plus Scott's prediction of a drop of interest rates, that means less inventory and more buyers.
So if you think interest rates drop, Nikki, you think inventory will pick up?
Maybe. I'm leaning toward yes, but I don't know that it will increase but so much, because the prices are also going to increase, right? So you still have a lot of people stuck in that catch-22 of either I want to buy or I want to sell, and how does that work on the other side, right? So I had one of the regular conversations that I find I have with like friends and family and social circle is the, hey, we'd really like to move.
But
we
where
don't
do we
need all
go?
this space.
Yeah.
But what are we gonna do?
Where
we
we
could
go?
sell our house, but where are we gonna buy?
Dude, that's the conversation everyone's having.
That's-
That's the conversation right
Yes.
there.
So
Okay.
we
My
had,
wife and I had that conversation last night.
how many, well, when the time of great unpleasantness happened, it infected everybody. That's why housing is so important. Before I forget this, I didn't write it down.
Oh, okay.
So you want me to
Say it right now.
You want me to write it down?
Say it right now. Say it right now.
Stop thinking
Just
too
checking.
loud.
Do you want me to write it down?
Talk.
So it brought up something. So Yona and I are at our house, are doing a event at the house, and we got a shredding truck coming. And we've reached out to all our clients and neighbors and all this stuff. And, you know, if you don't want the government to see any docks, start coming over here and shredding.
Is that what was on the Vistaprint invitation?
You know we're live right now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. But it's funny. So Yona, yesterday started going through all these documents that we've collected for decades. And she actually pulled off some loan documents of rental property we bought before the time of great unpleasantness. And she goes, did you realize we were paying 8% back then, and 5 and 6 and 7? So this interest rate of dropping to 5, if it does, is below the historical norm of 7.1. If you take a look at it's FHA or HUD, I can't remember which one, over 72 years, the average is 7.1%. So if we go down to 5%, you know, I think folks are just got this hangover that isn't done yet from the 2 to 3%. And I think as we get longer into the year, that hangover will go away on it. Because I actually think it hurt the market more than helped it.
When I think they're adjusting well, considering, and yet there's more adjusting still to do as far as how people view their home as an investment or view purchasing investment properties and some of the numbers around it that they've been able to pull off, or some of the numbers that work in other communities. Ever since I have my license, I've had investors call and I've engaged them just, if anything, for the sake of learning more and being able to grow my knowledge and scope of expertise, right? So Charlottesville is never the town that is going to get them the numbers that they hope they're going to get at the beginning of the conversation. It's just not been before COVID hit, before it was intense and crazy. In some areas you can get that. And sometimes that means go invest in another area. And sometimes it means take a look at what your long game is for how you view your investments. And are you judging them? Are you judging your real estate investments and your other investments? Are you diversified? All of these things factor in.
Well said, Nikki.
So Yvonne will be a regular on the show when
Yeah,
she
that's a
moves
great idea.
moves to Richmond. But just to the point that you outlined and looking at the 100 and something homes that went under pending, we had, the therapy session after number 11 and 12. Well, screw it, I'm going to rent. And I said, no, time out. Let's be patient. We're going to get there. We went through this whole math scenario because they were going to basically piss away 40 grand, right? And rent and all this stuff. And oh, by the way, the houses are going to increase in value. So you're constantly chasing this valuation or this appreciation, which is a great thing. That's what you want to have happen. So they've agreed. We ended up paying a little bit more than they were comfortable with, but they knew that over time that value will
make it up.
Will come back to them. So, renting is great, but don't get discouraged and get out there in the game and start building some equity.
Nikki, you did a fantastic job today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I love being here. This is fantastic.
We enjoy having you on the show. Nikki Chambers, some closing thoughts for the fans, the viewers and listeners.
Oh gosh, you know what? I don't know. To sit down and think about what it is you really want. Like today, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. And some of those may be hard to answer. And some of them may be more realistic than other parts. But if you don't sit down and try to think about it, you definitely won't know. And if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to set yourself in any direction to get where you want to go, right? I know that may sound odd to say, but truly, a lot of times I think people get really frustrated, whether it's they're on their journey to home ownership or investing. It's like, hey, where do you really want to be? What is it you want to get from this? Because if you stay focused on that, you're much, much more likely to actually find a way that is workable that gets you there, even if it doesn't look like what you thought it would.
Nice.
So how do you recover from losing $17 million? You make a plan and you stick to the plan. It goes up and down.
Yeah,
but you
definitely.
stick to the plan and you go ahead and do that. So
and you don't change the plan every 5 minutes, 5 weeks. Maybe you reevaluate it every 5 weeks to 5 months. Definitely reevaluate it yearly.
Quarterly, you should do.
Yeah, agreed. But a lot of times people are like, "Oh my God, it's not working."
But it's hard. But it's hard.
It's been 5 minutes.
For some folks, though, Nikki, and I get it, and I understand it. It's hard. I have this conversation with my oldest daughter, 2 grandchildren. They're up to just living in Connecticut. Just to get a gallon of milk is an event.
Oh yeah.
Right. And how can I look beyond that? Because right now I'm trying just to get through the craziness of the day. So that it's.
Oh, you're 100% right. And there is a it's, I don't know, it's almost like a tightrope sometimes, but it is a balance. It is a balance. And there is hey, living in today, enjoying the journey. That's kind of my jam. Enjoying the journey is something I say a lot and something I say to myself a lot. And in moments, sometimes I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm not enjoying my journey right now. What do I need to shift? Because that's not how I want to live life. And I still want to be forward thinking, because if I am only looking at today, then I'm not also planning for that future where I want to not worry about whether or not I'm going to be able to drive when I'm, 86, or whether my kids will be, and if I need to be dependent on them or not.
A plan's a good thing.
Yeah.
Get a plan and work it. Can I ask Judah a question?
Sure.
Judah, did we find out what the Yiddish word for normal was?
I could only find it in actual Yiddish writing, so I can't read it.
Got it. We got to get Yona involved in on that.
Your
too.
daughter says good morning. She loves you.
Oh, yeah, she's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, hold it. They're both the
Wait,
best.
oh.
Damn it.
She is watching the program right now and
See,
she
Yeah.
Send flowers. to
says
your other
that she
daughter now.
always remembers you guys working very hard.
Yep. So think of some names.
Yeah.
If everybody thinks this is a great idea, we'll do that show.
I think that's a great idea
that out,
to do
yeah.
that.
I like
Judah Wickhauer is the director. Keith Smith, Nikki Chambliss, Real Talk with Keith Smith. Show archived at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. Presented by Keller Williams Alliance. Just a fantastic family at KWA. I have a kind of a bird's eye view or this like glimpse of KWA's family through the many guests that come on our shows, and they're just good people. They embody the golden rule mentality.
Be a mensch.
Be a mensch. Mensch means good person for those that don't know.
Yeah.
Because it kind of has the connotations of
It
not
doesn't
good.
sound nice.
Right, it
I'm
does
so
not sound
sorry.
nice.
So
Yeah,
so
it
we'll
doesn't
end
sound
we'll
nice.
end on this. Jonas speaks multiple languages and translates them all in, and I'm still working on English. For those who watch the show, understand.
They know. They know.
Yeah.
They know
I'm not good at anything.
I'm not good at English. But, when she yells at me in French, I kind of get a little excited.
Oh, French sounds great.
Right? But
yes.
when she says something romantic in German, I get very nervous.
Yeah.
So it's the tone of the language.
Oh
and
my
stuff
gosh,
like
it's
that,
100% true. Some
true.
are way more pleasing to the ear. If
Well,
you
that's
may.
why they call French, Italian, Spanish the romance languages.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
Germanic language is not a romance
You know
language.
what? I love how Arabic sounds. Okay,
It's anything
also.
but.
I'm just saying.
I
Everybody
just
does.
offended the whole German speaking.
Yes, you did.
No, there's a meme
Is
for that. I'm
that
just
called
saying.
not a romance language?
It is not a romance
No,
language.
it's not.
It's officially right, Judah. It is not a romance language. Romance is your Italian.
Don't bring us down with that shit. Don't bring us down with that shit. There's a
late.
lot of folks
Too
that
late.
are from. We
It might
love
sink
Keith.
slowly, but-
Keith helps people buy and sell homes. He's a realtor. He's a realtor.
Not a linguist.
Judah Wickhauer is the director. We love doing this show with these people. We will see you guys at 12:30 for the I Love
I wish
Seagull
I had
show.
a filter, huh?
Take care.
No, that would be boring. So glad you don't have a filter, Keith. Thank you.
I wish I had a filter. But it's true. German is not a romance language.
No.
That was fun, guys.
I'm gonna